Hey, it's Dr. Martinez here. You recognize that? That's a little bit of a pickleball sound. So all of you people out there who play pickleball, we have a special edition for you today for Retract-a-Band. So we are going to show all you pickleballers how to use Retract-a-Band to strengthen up your pickleball game. My sister, it's a shout out to Renee Martinez in Santa Fe, New Mexico, a great pickleball player. We're going to show you this, and she's much better than I am. I'm a tennis player, convert, and so is she, but pickleball is all the rage now, so we're going to show you how to do it. First things first, really want you to warm up, right? You know me with our Retract-a-Band. Retract-a-Band, we do warm-ups first, right? You see my Retract-a-Band here. Got it. So, love that Retract-a-Band. So, I'm going to show you how to do these wonderful exercises. But first, you warm up. Legs, of course, right? Because there's sort of a lot of movement, a lot of lateral movement, so these are really good. Right, when you're at the kitchen, right, kitchen line. So, and you really want to sort of move those arms. And there's a lot of wrist in pickleball, so you want to make sure your wrists are nice and strong. Really important, right? So you don't have any wrist injuries, which is very, very common. Obviously, there's some knee injuries. There can even be some hip injuries, shoulders, and even trunk. Just be careful. There's a lot of lateral movement, a lot of reaching forward. So you have to really be careful and be in shape. Make sure you stretch out. We're just sort of warming up. 2 more arms. I like to hold the ball in my hand. Right, whoop. So I thought this would be really fun. I think it's perfect for Retract-a-Band, and they're a perfect match, pickleball and Retract-a-Band. Because you really, with Retract-a-Band, you have the handle, right, which is the grip, and it feels just like a pickleball racket grip, right? It's got that nice feel in your hand, and you can really use the resistance to make sure that you're strong enough so you don't have any of these injuries, as well as increase the strength in your game and make you much more effective. So watch out, Renee. These people who are watching this and using Retract-a-Band are coming for you. Okay, so if you've watched my other videos, you know that I'm going to let you do some of this on your own. So I'm already kind of warmed up, but I want you to, stop the video at any point, do a little bit more warm up, right? And also do a little bit of stretching. Remember, you can do the stretching after as well, but the warm up is key, right? You always want to do the warm up before you exercise, and you want to do the warm up before you stretch. Lowers your risk of injury. As I always say, it doesn't mean you're going to get an injury if you don't do it. It generally lowers your risk of injury. Okay, good. All right, so let's get into it. So one of the things that you'll recognize, I'm going to use this as sort of my kitchen line, is that there's a lot of wrist that I just referred to earlier. So when you move your wrist, righty or lefty, you can move this way mainly. You're trying to get a little bit of topspin. That is what is called radial deviation, right? Radial deviation at the wrist, right? So the movement is, you'll recognize that you can sort of hit the ball, boom, and sort of do it this way. Sometimes you hit topspin when you're coming up and you're trying to get the ball to drop pretty quickly. And on the backhand 2 hand or 1 hand, you get that movement of the wrist. So a good radial deviation exercise with the Retract-a-Band I have here. We're going to go back and forth with the racket so that you can really understand what I'm trying to do. Here's that beautiful Retract-a-Band. Blue handles, white locking mechanisms, red band, great for the 250th celebration, America celebration. You guys should go get it. We are now on Walmart, by the way, retract-a-band.com, retract-a-band.com, so go get them, right? No shipping fees on Walmart. That's good. Okay, so then that movement where you flick your wrist, what you do is you grab your Retract-a-Band fairly tight. You notice I didn't adjust it. I sort of kept it kind of tight. Open the locking mechanism. Make sure it's the tightest it is. Your hand is here on the grip, just like you would on the pickleball racket. Hold it down with your opposite hand, and then just flick up, right? It doesn't matter that it sort of twists. Flick, just like you would with the racket, right? You're pulling the tension, and then you're flicking up. You're getting that top spin, that speed at the end. Good. Nice little flick, right? I'll show you with the racket again. It's that move, right? Hit, make contact, flick, right? You're gonna get a lot of that. So pull it out a little bit, flick up, right? You can see there's tension there, so you can feel it. The other thing you do in order to sort of get some speed on the ball, right, is you can do it, you notice that's a backhand. What you do is you can sort of, if it's above the net particularly, you can flick, but you also kind of push. There's a little push forward, right? You're getting the radial deviation and push. That's a wrist extension. We call it a wrist extension. Technically, it's that, whereas that's the radial deviation. That is the extension. So, same thing. You pull that hand out and you sort of wrist forward. Wrist forward. The knuckles go forward, right? And then you can do them both, and then forward and flick up. And you're gonna feel that. You're gonna feel that right in that forearm, right? The dorsal forearm. Those muscles are good. And with the Retract-a-Band, you can do it quickly, right? Which is gonna happen in pickleball. Boom, that's up, out, that way. So it's a really, really good way to get some strength in there. Okay, now, wrist is also, you get flexion in the forehand, right? So forehand, I'm a righty, you can do it lefty, right? So you're gonna get that radial deviation, but you also get that forehand sort of push, right? So sometimes what I like to do with the forehand is I like to make this nice and long, really nice and long. One side, maybe a little longer on the other side. Remember, you open up that locking mechanism, pull it out, snap that thing shut. I like to put it around my back like this, right? And then what happens, you get a little tension. I'm gonna hold a little tighter over here, and then you can flick that wrist forward, flick, right? You get that tension, I can feel it in there. Sometimes I'll turn it around, woo, like that, and flick, right? Flick, right? So you're making contact, flick up like this. So here's the racket, boom, right? And you can add a flick forward. So the radial deviation is up and the forward is out. That's if it's above the net, right? You're there, right at the kitchen, you lean in, boom, put it away, okay? So there's your move, right? Retract-a-Band is perfect for that. I can feel that. That you're gonna get in the underside of the forearm, right? That's called the ventral forearm. And you're really gonna get strong in those forearms because you need that with pickleball. You need those, especially if you're having the back and forth when you're up there at net. All right, so pull this back, right? What's so great about this Retract-a-Band, it doesn't really matter if you twist it unless you're bringing it in or outside of the handles, right? Then you want it kind of sort of lined up like this. Mine got a little sticky, it's a little humid today, right? And then what you do is you can sort of pop it open, slide it back like that, okay? So I'm only gonna do one side. I've got this side a little bit longer, and I'm gonna put it back for a second so that you can see with the racket what I'm gonna do. Take the two magnets on the outside, snap them together, perfect. Nice and compact, okay. So then if you are doing a return, right, or even a serve, right, I'm gonna pretend that my opponent's this way. So you're getting a full swing. So a righty forehand, right, you would always do a forehand, right? I've never seen anyone do a backhand, but it's possible out there, right? Is that what happens is you get a full swing. The full swing is this, right? You're hitting that pickleball, right? Because it, you know, that pickleball has holes in it, right? So it slows it down as it's moving. So you can get a full hard swing at it. That's your first serve. Or your return, if you're back, right? Well, you would be back, right? Is what happens, you get a full swing at it, or you can get a full back swing at it. There's the two-hander, or a full, right? So you want a strong, fast swing. Okay, so let me put that away. Got my Retract-a-Band. Remember, when you undo the Retract-a-Band, if it's magnetized together, you twist it or you open it like a book, right? Pulling it straight out, it's too strong. So you just twist it or open it like a book. There it is. Okay, so you're gonna do a full forehand. We're gonna pull it way out again. Notice I did it just on the one side. I'm gonna wrap it around my back again. That back gives you that, you know, that tension that you need. Got it in my hand, right? And then my opponent's over that way. So what happens is you get that full swing, right? And again, it doesn't matter that it twists once it's locked in place, and you get the full swing. You can feel the tension because with the elastic bands, the more you pull them, the harder it gets. That's what's so key about the elastic bands, and having the handles is magnificent. Boom, there it is, that full, and notice how fast it is. So I'm coming around, dropping that serve, taking that full swing. Some people do an underspin, right? If you want to, you notice that your opponent has a hard time returning the underspin, you can underspin it this way, right? Underspin it this way. If you want more tension, you make it a little tighter over here, and then that you can really feel, right? Gets in your shoulder, that's called shoulder adduction, right? Boom, and then you're just following through, either high for the top spin or kind of low for the underspin, right? That feels really good. On the backhand, right, what happens, it would be a return. So if it comes to your backhand side, same sort of tightness, right? If it's a two-hander. So if it's a two-hander, you put those two together, you've got it wrapped around your waist for the tension, and your opponent's that way, and you go, right? That feels good, right? You get that tension. Okay, if you're a one-handed backhand, you pull it back from around you, right? You need it a little tighter. Open up the locking mechanisms, you just pop it open. See how I reach over with my fingers? I think that's the best way to do it. Then you slide it in, snap it shut. It's got some tension here. And then you're going to be holding this one tightly. Oh, that's good tension. You either get your top spin or your underspin, and you've got that handle that feels just like a pickleball racket. And boy, you can really feel that and show. That's going to make you very powerful on the pickleball court, right? So, okay, so there's the returns and the serves. Notice I'm breathing a little harder already. That means we're getting a good workout. Okay. Obviously, there are times when you're returning, you're going to approach, right, the kitchen from your return, approach the net, or you're going to wait one if you're a server and it comes in, and they have a good return, then you're going to sort of approach. Approach can happen in multiple ways. I'm going to snap that together, nice and tight. Bring the racket back. Okay. Now, if they stay back, of course, then you're going to get the full swing like we just demonstrated before. But if they're approaching that net, right, then what you want to do is you want to be able to hit a shot that's going to drop into the kitchen, right? The whole goal of this whole thing, and one of the mainstays of pickleball, they don't talk about it enough in my opinion, is that you're trying to get that ball to drop below the net before they make contact, right? Because then they have to hit up to you. You get the ball to drop below to them and they hit up to you, then you can put it away. All right, so then several ways to hit that approach shot. You can take a full backswing and then shorten the follow through, okay? So if I'm a one-hander, backhand. So again, opponent's over here, so it'd be a full backswing and then you stop that follow through, right? So if you come in and stop the follow through, the ball pops up, right? It's got that nice little height to it and then it drops into the kitchen, right? And that's really key, right? Because they can't step into that, right? So that's one approach, right? And what you want to do is make sure you get that drop, right? So the other one is that you would shorten the backswing and get a little bit more of a full follow through, right? That's going to drive it a little bit deeper to the back of the kitchen, or if they're not going to quite get there, you can get it at their feet. So you would shorten it here and then lengthen the follow through, right? So you come here, lengthen, same thing on the forehand, opponent's over there, shorten the backswing, I said follow the backswing, and then lengthen the follow through, okay? It's two different approaches. Let me grab the band. Okay, I like the twisting method. Right, so if I'm going to get a full follow through and a short full backswing and a short follow through, don't let me mix those up too much. Okay, so then I can hold it. We're going to do backhand. I can hold it with my left. I'm a righty, and I've got it back here. You get the full backswing, and there's where the tension is in your retract-a-band. Right, so full backswing, nice and tight. So if I'm approaching you, full backswing, and you stop it, the ball pops up and drops into the kitchen, right? So here it is, right? Backswing, stop it, right? Backswing, stop that follow through. If you do a full follow through, it's gonna float further. If they stay back, fine, right? Then that's just a regular stroke, right? But if they're approaching, you want that ball to drop below the net. Okay, so remember the two, right? One is, right, the first one was full backswing, stop. The second one was a short backswing. Make sure this is nice and tight. Good. And the full follow through. So you start here and then what happens is you fall all the way through. Right? You're getting a good tension on the band, start and fall all the way through. That's gonna really, right, make that ball drop a little further towards the kitchen. If they're slow, it gets at their feet and they have to do, in tennis we call it a half volley. Okay, on the forehand side, remember you're gonna lengthen it. Nice and long, good. Nice and long, right? You put it around your back again, right? So if you don't like it to sort of rub up against you, you can sort of spread it out, right? It doesn't matter once it's locked in place. Okay, so then there's that full backswing, and then you stop, right? And some people will do an underspin, right? It comes full backswing, and then stop, ball pops up, drops into the kitchen. Or you can do it with topspin. Full backswing, pop it up. Full backswing, pop it up, but you stop short, right? You don't pull all the way through. That's a no-no. Backswing, pop it up short, get a little topspin, it drops down. Full backswing, short follow through. Boy, I can really feel the tension. Full backswing, short follow through, or short backswing, full follow through. Good. Right? That's going to make it go a little bit deeper if they're not fast enough to get all the way up to the kitchen. Okay, so good. You got that? That's important. Boy, I'm feeling it, right? Really getting strong in that right arm, right? And that's what feels really good about pickleball and the Retract-a-Band, right? All right, so then you can do a short backswing and a short follow through. That is also going to get you a drop, right? So what happens is that you start kind of here, right? I'm going to pull the tension a little tighter. You can sort of suck it in a little bit. Heard that snap. So then I'm starting here. I'm not bringing my racket back, right? And then I just give it a little jab, right? So I'm here and I jab it up. I can feel the tension when I do it. It's just naturally on tension around my back. But I've got it. It's on tension. Give it a little jab coming from the shoulder. Ball pops up, right? And you get that from the backhand side. You would pull it out. Make sure these things are lined up. There it is. There it goes. Good, good, good. Sticky, sticky. Humidity today. Great. Snap that shut. Pop it open with your fingers. Roll it in. Good. Nice and tight. Hold that backhand, the backhand, in this case, my left hand, tight here, so it's back. Short backswing, short follow through. Short backswing, short follow through. Woo! Feel that arm, that's a shoulder abduction, right? And obviously you get some forearm in there because you're holding the racket. Boom. Right, that ball is gonna stop, right? So you're gonna tap it and it's not gonna go too far. So you are approaching the net. You have already taken away some of the court to get closer to the net. That short backswing, short follow through is gonna make that thing drop into the kitchen so it's below at their feet. That way you have time to get up to the net and you can get into an advantageous situation. Okay, so the approaches, right? Let's go over those again. You did a full backswing with a short follow through. So full backswing, short follow through. Full backswing, stop, ball pops up, drops into the kitchen if you're approaching the net or you're from the backcourt. You can do a short backswing, full follow through. That ball's gonna go to the back of the kitchen or a little bit further. So tighten this up. Good. Short backswing, full follow through. Short backswing, full follow through. Short. Boy, look at that. Oh, the tension. It's starting to get a little sore there. All right. And then of course the last one that you see, notice I'm doing everything on my backhand. I tend to favor that side. You can do a short backswing and a short follow through. That means you're getting really close to the kitchen, right? And at that point, you want that ball to be nice and soft. It's not exactly a dink just yet, right? Because you're still moving forward. And so then you'd be a short backswing, short follow through, right? Right? And so you're coming in short, boom, just a little tightness, right? And you can feel the tension, right? Getting much stronger in that pickleball arm, dominant arm, and it's feeling really good. Okay. So let's go to when you're up at net. I'm gonna put those together. Let me grab that. Okay, sorry about taking me a little time to grab one. Okay, all right, sorry about that. Okay, so you're right at the net. So what's gonna happen is you're gonna be doing some dinking, right? You're gonna play that little game there. And that's important, right? Because once again, the game is, we used to do it in tennis, right, a little bit, right? We used to play it just for fun, is you're trying to get that ball to drop low to their feet so they hit it up to you. If they hit it too far up to you, of course you know this, right? Then you're dominant. I'm here at the kitchen line, and you can just boom and put it away, right? So once it's above that net, it's yours, it's over, right? You can even do an Ernie and swipe around the side, right, and just knock that thing, you know, out and sort of win the point easily. So, okay, so you're at the net, but you have a short backswing with a short follow through. So on the backhand side, you know I favor my backhand, right? It's sort of a short little, right? It's soft, right? Forehand side. Notice sometimes people are angling that racket a little bit, right? And I've even seen, I've been watching, what is her name? Todd and Black, right? Really great team out of, I think they're out of Columbus or something like that. Anyway, but really great women's team. And, you know, Todd, she does, I think her name is Paris Todd, she does top spins, right? So then she'll come in here, a little short backswing, then she'll come up with a quick little wrist flick, or she'll even do this, and she'll make the ball rise and fall right back into the kitchen on the other side. So that's what the topspin does, right? But the short backswing, short follow, short backswing, short follow through, short backswing, short follow through, right? Under, right? You get the angle, and you go like that. So that's important. All right, let me get the Retract-a-Band. Okay, so, oh, look, I changed up Retract-a-Bands on you. All blue handles, red band, Retract-a-Band, looks great. Okay, I'm gonna only open it up just a little bit. Snap it shut with a good squeeze. Open up the other side, pull it out just a bit, snap it up. Okay, so there's the handle, just like the pickleball handle. Check that out, right? So then you're down here and you're just doing that little pull, right? That's gonna really strengthen you, right? So there's no backhand. Sometimes I'll pull it this way, pull it. If you do sort of, you know, the Paris Todd, then what she does is she does the short backswing so it doesn't go back very far. This hand is just an anchor. And then she does a little topspin, right? A little flick, right? So on the forehand side, right, you would put it around your back again, make it a little longer, right? And then there it is. See how tight it is to start? And I just drop it, right? So then I'm here and I'm moving along the kitchen line, right? Dropping it, I could drop it over there, and I feel that tension. Feel the tension with the Retract-a-Band, right? You can do your little topspin, but it's a nice, short, tight movement, right? And the Retract-a-Band is perfect for this, right? Because it's a nice, tight, you know, elastic band tension pull. And as I said earlier, the more you pull the elastic band, the harder it gets. So that really serves you well. That is called a multi-tonic exercise, right? So drop shot. Whoop, that one would go this way. Oh, too long on that one, right? So pop it in, no problem. Pop it in, easy. Little topspin. Sometimes you even lean back and do one of those, right? Okay. So those are your little dinks, right? They're really important. You'll know, because you play a lot of pickleball, maybe even more than I do, is when you're at the kitchen, right? Obviously, right, you're there and you need to reach forward. Very different in tennis. In tennis, you get that nice step into it, right? But at the kitchen, you can't step into that kitchen, right? So there's a leaning that goes on, sort of leaning. And when you lean, you pull your arm out, and your scapula, your shoulder blade, is actually pulling out, right? So you're leaning towards the ball. If you can get it as early as you can so it's above the net, then you can lean it in. Otherwise, you got to let it drop and bounce, and then you're doing your dinks, right? So what you want to do is, let me show you with the racket, right? So you're leaning in, and as you lean in, you're going to be pushing out. If my opponents were over there, I'd be standing like this, and I'd be leaning, right? You can lean as far as you can lean, take the advantage, try to get the ball above the net. That is called a scapular protraction, right? Your scapula is protracting out. Really important to make that strong, because you can injure a muscle in your shoulder and get very, very sore in your back here, right? The muscle is underneath the scapula. Okay, so it's actually one of the rotator cuff muscles. Okay, so here we go. We got our Retract-a-Band, right? We're gonna do it, and I'm gonna keep it tight. Okay, so I'm gonna do it this way. My opponent's this way. I'm here at the kitchen line, right? So this is just to hold it as an anchor. I pull that out, right? Then you have your racket, which turns like this. There's your grip, and then you're pushing out, right? There's that movement, right? That arm movement. So you push, push. You're getting above, push with the backhand. That was really going to strengthen you up. There's a muscle right here called the serratus anterior muscle. You see it in boxers. Serratus has got like a little serratus edge. And so that will really develop well, right, when you're doing this. So you're here, you're reaching, and then that tension, right, is going to make you stronger, be able to put some balls away. On the forehand side, we've already talked about it. Lengthen it way out. Pop open the locking mechanism. Lengthen. Notice I like to pull with my hands just faster, right? Pull it out, pull it all the way around your back. Get a little tension with the non-dominant hand, then this thing is tense, right? So then we're gonna go this way, I'm gonna turn, right? And then there's the protraction. Can you see the band stretching, right? You're reaching with the forehand. You'll notice that, because I favor the backhand side, and you'll notice in pickleball that the backhand is actually more versatile, right? Especially when you're at net, right? Because it can move closer and into your body, where the forehand you kind of get stuck. You can do this, but the lower ones are really difficult, and it's easier to do the backhand side. But either way, you're getting that protraction on that dominant side of yours, forehand or backhand. Forehand or backhand, but right hand or left hand. Okay, so then if you notice in there's basically no backswing, right? There isn't any backswing. And you're standing up at the net, and here you are with your Retract-a-Band, and most players are standing here and they have their racket in front. It's important to try to keep your racket as far in front so that you have some reaction speed time, right? You can catch it early, or if you're late, you can get it, you can move it back a little bit, or even move it back a little bit. But if your racket's here and you catch it late, you're going to be doing one of these. It's much more difficult. So you want to keep that pickleball racket out in front of you, and then from here, there's your protraction. You can react to it. You can make this as tight as you want. And if you're doing, in my case, forehands, you slide it all the way in, open it up, slide it all the way in. Isn't that great? Just slides right in. Snap it shut, hold this tight to your stomach, and there's your tension, right? Short or no backswing, really, and then a little bit of a follow through, right? Because you're just reacting and responding, backhand, forehand, right? And you'll notice then the backhand, we're going to go over that now. That's fun. Okay. Obviously, for putaways at the net, I'm going to snap those two together. Right, if the ball is floating and you have time, so my opponent's over here, the ball is floating above the net, you have time, full swing, full backswing, if you have the time, full backswing, full follow through, bam, you just nail it, right? It pops up, boom, right, and you end that point. If my opponent's over here, ball's floating up in the air, bam, if you're going to use the backhand, right? So don't worry about the tightness. What you're worried about is the speed, right? So that's important. That's called power. So if we bring the Retract-a-Band back, okay, you'll see I'm alternating between Retract-a-Bands, nice and tight, right? So then if it's a backhand and we're here, that ball is floating, full swing, boom, right? Keep this as the anchor, right? It's fast, boom, right? It's over, right? Or you can even tighten it to your chest, forehand, and then bam, right? I like it better behind me, but you can get the tension. I got a nice grip, feels like a pickleball racket, bam, right? And you just put it away. Again, I think it's better if you get it up here. Notice I got it really tight. Keep it here, it's up there. You're protracting, reaching forward, boom, right? Above the net, full backswing, bam, right? You just hit it and end it, right? So, wow, I feel it. I'm perspiring. So how about you? Good stuff so far, right? I know it's going a little fast, but you can replay this video and go over. It is definitely going to make your pickleball game better, right? So, in fact, I think my sister, right, start using this thing. Her game is going to get even better, so watch out. She's good enough as it is. All right, so there's your put away. All right, now something fun. You guys are going to love this. So I'm going to pop this back in. Ooh, humidity, definitely, right? That's great, good. Pop open, all the way in already. Pop open, slide in, isn't that cool? Snap shut, put it together, okay. last thing, I think you're gonna like this. So I said earlier, I hinted to the fact that the backhand is more versatile, right? Especially up at net. Usually you'll do a one-handed backhand. Some people do two, but it's not as versatile because your backhand, right, can hit, protract and hit all these different movements out here. Your forehand can hit all these movements out here. But when the ball comes at your body, forehand gets stuck. You can do a little bit of this and you can do a little bit, but it's not great, right? You don't have as much control. And the reason is anatomical, right? Is that the shoulder on the forehand is back. It's the furthest shoulder away from the net. See, this shoulder's closer to the net. Whereas on the backhand side, this shoulder's closer to the net. So you can do this and you can do this and you can do this. See how far over? You can't do that with the forehand, right? You can hit a ball here, 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 all the way out here and still be pretty successful. So at the net, you tend to see to go to the backhand, and only if it goes pretty far to your dominant side will you stick your racket out and do it there. So there's a lot of this, and then you get, but they tend to go to the backhand. Okay, so the movement is this. When you bring it down, see how the elbow pops up? The elbow pops up, that is an internal rotation of your shoulder. It's a rotator cuff movement, right? So it pops up there. So you want to have some strength and you want to be able to do that quickly. And then from there, one, that's a reaction, right? I'm sitting here at the kitchen, standing here at the kitchen. And then from here, if you're really good, what happens is you tense and then you can push out so you get that protraction and you get a little bit of elbow straightening, elbow extension. That's tricep, right? So you get this and then boom, right, if you can get out. So it's a reaction and then you push out, right? That's gonna win you a lot of points. And then if you're with those, like Paris Todd and her partner, right, is that you can do a topspin, right? So if the ball comes at you and you're fast enough, you react like this. There's the rotator cuff internal rotation. There's the protraction and elbow extension, and then you flick, right? And it's amazing how quickly they can do that and how strong you have to be. So you're here, boom, 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 right? So how do you do that with the Retract-a-Band? Okay, so here's your Retract-a-Band. You keep it tight. It's going to be on the backhand side. We're not going to do that on the forehand side, right? This is your anchor. So you hold it with your ankle. So the first move is you're here, right? You're keeping your racket out in front like we talked about earlier. And then boom, you pop out that elbow. I can feel the tension. You could even do it this way. Doesn't matter if this twists. Don't worry about that, right? So then boom, I can feel that tension. That's an internal rotation of your shoulder, right? The racket goes down. Good. Number two is, if you go down now, please don't do too many of these at first, right? Let's stick to maybe 10 because you will get sore and we don't want to cause shoulder injuries. Remember, in a pickleball game, that's going to happen a few times, but not constantly. You're not going to do 10 in a row. So, when you exercise, maybe 8, maybe 10, then take a break, do some other exercise. You can do another set later, right? But you don't want to injure yourself, and you can, right? So you just have to get stronger. So there's that move. And then the second move is out, right? So it's boom, boom, right? So you can just practice those, right? Your rear end sticks out, right, to give you a counterbalance, and you push forward. So then you can do them together, and then it's quick, right? And that's what I love about the Retract-a-Band is that it's going to stay taut as you go through these quickly. That's going to build that power move, right? Speed is incorporated into a power. And then at the very end, if you're really good, right? So you internally rotated, straightened out your elbow and protracted, then you flick. You get that flick. And all of that, a lot of tension there, right? So here we go. We'll do it all together, right? This is your anchor arm. Down, pop, flick, right? So then it's going to be like, ooh, right? It's going to be, ooh, right? And you're going to, boy. I might be a little sore, right? Really good. Remember to stop the video, right? Slow things down, right? Do a couple sets. Don't overdo it the first time you do this. You are going to get stronger. Retract-a-Band is great for pickleball. They go really well together, right? Because the handle feels very much like the grip on Retract-a-Band. All right, so let's see what you got. You know what? Talk to Renee. She might be able to give you a great discount on a Retract-a-Band. Remember, we're at Walmart, free shipping on Walmart. So at first you might think the price is a little high, but you're getting free shipping, so that's good. You want to go to other places. We do have a website. Check this out. Love this YouTube channel. Remember, how do you reach your pickleball goals in 2026? Retract-a-Band. See ya.